Morning, YouTube, friends and family. Fast Eddie here. Pouring concrete this morning. Got a pumper, concrete truck. All right. Just doing, floating it. I think I'm on my second troweling here. Waiting for it to set up a little bit more. Put that visqueen up there. The dew from the morning is coming off the roof and dripping down on the outer apron of the slab there. So got a piece of plastic up protecting that edge. Just coming along. I'm basically on my own now for getting it to the finish. I did all the troweling and the floating, but had help on the other end getting it screeded, concrete down. What a great weather day to do concrete work. We just really lucked out. I was pretty worried about this week being the last week, probably the pour that I was gonna, weather-wise. So, real happy with what I've got done here. Just got left of doing some more troweling, and then do power troweling. So, who knows how long that'll take, but it's just me doing it, so I'm not having to pay extra dollars. So let me give you a little bit of pricing on what I was going through for pouring just this section right here. Now I'm just talking about the work part with the concrete, not including concrete prices. Okay, so the first guy they give me the price, which was actually the best deal, but he did the other side, which was 36 by 36 measurements. This is 24 by 36 on this side. He did that side for $1,200 labor. Called him back to have him do this side, and he wanted $2,500. So I don't know. I felt like highway robbery, but maybe the cost of things have gone up that much, and maybe he underbid the other side a little bit. I don't know. So I was unhappy with that and think I needed to get more prices. So I had another guy show up. So another contractor comes out, gives me a bid just for the labor, quotes me $3,800 to do this side right here. $3,800. That's just labor, no concrete. So I'm thinking, well, there just must be something really high about that, guys. I'm gonna get one more bid. 3 bids. That's what I did when I worked for the government. Always get 3 bids. Okay, so third guy comes out. Actually, no, it wasn't the third guy. I was calling on pumping prices for pumping concrete. So he gave me a quote on how much he charges per yard. So he was figuring in the concrete also, which the concrete here is $155 a yard delivered. So his labor price to get the concrete out of the truck and finished come out to be, because this is like 16 and a quarter, maybe 16 and a half yards right here, was $4,900. Yeah, that's just labor, $4,900. So I don't know if you guys think that's a little too crazy, but I sure did. So I did the work myself, and I'll work my butt off trying to get it to the finished quality that I want, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, I know I'll be satisfied, especially since I'm saving that amount of dollars. So what I had to do to be able to manage this myself was I found somebody through a lot of calling to come out and help me get it off the truck. Basically, they got it off the truck. I think there was 5 guys. They screeded it and they just basically screeded it. I did all the floating, you know, whatever you want to call it, troweling with the, you're running a float, so I did all that. They did the screeding. And I got one guy, you know, coming back, checking on, you know, if I need extra help, and he's going to give me a hand in the rest of the finished work. So for paying for that was $1,000. And then I had to pay a pumper, because the pumper comes out, since the truck can't drive in there, it's too deep. I have a pumper that sets up and pumps the whole thing, and that was 2 guys and their machine. That cost me $450. So, you know, actually, you know, in the beginning I was thinking that's a lot of money to pay a pumper when you can just lay the concrete down. But what I didn't take into consideration is that pumper makes the job of the people working the concrete a lot easier. They're not having to move as much concrete around because the pumper is pretty good about placing the concrete where it should be. So that's it. For me, it was money saved, because I was able to get people here to do the work because it was easy for them, and I'm not paying them for the whole day. That was the issue for a lot of guys giving me bids. They didn't want to give me a bid where they were just here for a portion of it. It's got to be big enough dollars to make it worth their while. So, but you know, regardless of saying anything bad about anybody trying to rip me off, you know, I saved myself money and I did it myself. So choices I made, and you know, choices might other people make, you know, that, you know, things cost a lot. Do more stuff yourself. So yeah. So we'll give it a power trowel here as the day goes along, and we'll get it smoothed out. Still working the concrete here. So we're not to the stage of using the power trowel yet, but I've got all these edges. They got an area that need to be worked. We got a slurry. You can see it right there on the edge there. That slurry, it'd be nice to get that worked into more out in here. Okay, so what I do is I have these little plywood pads that I cut small. There's 2 of them here, one I'm standing on. And then you work from your outside there in, finishing up along this wall here. Okay, because we need to get that a little more flatter, so that we're running the power trowel. We're not dealing with these mounds of concrete along the edge there. That's the way you do it. Time is crucial at finishing concrete, and you need to be doing everything in steps. So this is another step that I like to do and I see done before you start running a power trowel over the whole thing. I've heard some people, they don't believe in using a power trowel. They'll do everything by hand, but I'm a one-man show, and we're going to use a piece of equipment to make this nice finish. Okay, we're going to continue. It's about 4:30 now. All right, we are near the finish line. I'm pretty happy with it. Of course, always with my experience, the concrete never dries evenly. On this end here, we had sunlight coming in. Seemed to have a effect of drying faster than this portion back here, which was poured first. But also, I created a little slurry of concrete and wetness here that gathered here. And usually, in previous times, I remember from pouring concrete, I would always float in this direction going out the door. So I would pull the wet out. So if it was wet, what I would do is there'd be 2 of us, and one of us would be on the float with long handles, and one guy would bring the float all the way in by hand, and the other guy would be holding onto the poles, drop it, and then drag all that extra wetness and slurry out the door. And that's what my experience is, what I remember, and that's what I had to resort to, because we had quite a bit of extra wetness and concrete that it was at the top that was prolonging the drying. So I call it a slurry. I don't know what other people call it, but yeah, the power trowel's working out good. Got this last portion back here that's a little more wet. I'm gonna finish it up maybe another half an hour. We'll see how drying time is. I might be done with this section here. It is pretty smooth. I would say it's comparable to the slab that's already done. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about pretty near done with this project, and satisfied with the results. So I think I started power troweling after I hand troweled all the way around this outer wall, because there was a nice little wet bit of again, I call it slurry, and when you push the float back and you're pulling it back and forth through this path here, you kind of push some down to the wall of where you stop, and then when you pull back, you kind of leave a bit on the edge there. So when it was dry enough, you saw that I put boards out and walked myself out, touching up this areas on the outer wall there, pulling it more into the center, and did that all the way around. That dressed up that wall edge so that it's not I don't know, just looking at you know, a little rough on the edges there. So I got that cleaned up pretty good, and we're just power troweling it, getting this done. Like I said, I started that portion of doing that wall. I got sidetracked here talking. I would say about 5 o'clock. About 6 o'clock, I started power troweling, and I noticed it, you know, it was more wet on this end. I started my power troweling out here on the front, worked my way in, you know, and just some people call that first trowel floating. I don't know, you call it what you want, but you are basically leveling the area out. You're making it flatter. And every procedure that you do, what you work toward is making it, your slab, flatter and flatter. So, but yeah, so now it's 8:30. We're working pretty late. I'm working pretty late. I'm the only one doing the finishing, but I was prepared to, you know, however long it took, but it's starting to set up faster than I would have thought. So I found out who my little visitor is staying in the shop here. Every so often I'll come out here in the mornings and find a big kind of a pile of white bird crap. So I was thinking, you know, since I found a rat body half eaten, that it must have been an owl. Well, when I was coming out here in the dark, I saw him flying out, great big white owl. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to find him a home, I guess. So he can't live in the shop forever, but yeah, so that's about it. Well, it's 10 o'clock and we're done. Concrete finished. So tomorrow I'll come in and clean those walls up there, wipe that concrete off that tin there, hopefully. Get it while it's still green. All right, yep. it was a long and late running day, but I'm not bothered by it. So yeah, we'll get back to it in the morning.